Hello. Thanks so much for joining me today. We're going to talk about HR best practices that every medical practice needs. So, hello, my name is Amy Sell. I'm the president of Yo HR Advisory Solutions. I love helping organizations with recruiting and building great teams and cultures, developing HR policies and handbooks, working on compensation and benefit planning issues for my clients, working on putting together training and leadership development programs that help each organization thrive, and I'm a client of many medical practices. So this is an area that's extra fun for me with a personal connection to talk about today. Yo has many great resources. There is amazing team members of mine that love to help out with tax and consulting, audit and assurance. I love, again, helping on the HR side. We've got a wonderful medical billing and consulting practice for all of you organizations that have to focus on that every day in and day out. We've got a great wealth management team that can help with retirement planning and a technology team. So if you need computers or different efficiency operations, we're here to help. We also have a very strong healthcare practice, which is why we're doing these type of webinars to help. We serve over 450 healthcare clients in 30 different healthcare specialties, and our team is highly credentialed to be able to support you in whatever you might need help with. So when it comes to medical practices, you are unique. You play a critical role and often save lives day in and day out. And so the work that you do is super important. And you also have to deal with unique challenges. The environment that you work in is often high stress. Again, you're dealing with those kind of mission critical things where moments can matter. There's also a lot of external pressures. The recent government shutdown, other changes in government and regulations can have a big impact that's well beyond your control, but yet you have to react to it. There's also significant cost constraints with insurance and other government regulations, and these environmental factors can lead to unique HR challenges as well. And given that your product that you are selling is your people, your team, that's why it is even so much more important to attract and retain top talent that has all the skills that you need and is staffed appropriately, uh, more than most any other industry that I can think of. Some of the special and unique challenges that you often face as a medical practice include staffing shortages. And if somebody is out for illness for a day, it can really wreak havoc on the rest of those scheduling issues. Um, Ongoing shortages can impact morale and lead to burnout or turnover. Another issue that can come into play is around conflicts. Sometimes you might have some providers that maybe don't get along, or you might have some strong personalities there, or other aspects that can lead to cultural issues. Also, being very aware of compensation and benefits can be a big concern because I know I've had clients where they've had team members leave for, an extra 25 cents an hour. So being on top of the market talent and being aware of that can be important. And then also being aware of, again, that culture that you want. You want to make sure that there's obviously a strong focus uh, on compliance and customer focus, but there's also an opportunity to create a culture that thrives on teamwork. So, and if these issues are not managed effectively, it can lead to extra costs, decrease in customer satisfaction, and more money and time than you might expect. So it's really important to be proactive at looking to avoid those problems. And so a few of the solutions I want to mention here are making sure that you have processes and partners that are able to quickly fill and support your staffing needs. So, really creating a great brand that can help on the recruiting side, making sure you're connected to staffing agencies that can do short-term staffing, specialized in the type of talent that you need, forecasting your staffing needs so that you can develop good partnerships with academic institutions or a talent pool to be proactive can be helpful. And then when you do come to recruiting, making sure that you have up-to-date job descriptions and you've got a good process so that you can roll out the recruiting welcome mat as quickly as possible is important. And then if you are able to do these things and have a good recruiting process, then again, filling those openings when it comes into play is really important. The next area that you want to focus on is retention. Once you find those great people and hire them, which can be, get a lot of time and money investment, you want to retain the people that you have. That's where, compensation is usually the first thing that people think about when joining a company, but then staying for the benefits also is important. So making sure that you have market competitive benefits, have a focus on mental health and wellness benefits. Again, that can help out with burnout that's common at medical practices is important. And then paying attention to the culture that you create. Again, you want to make sure that it's focused on safety and customer satisfaction and high quality care, but you also want to make sure that you're addressing any conflict and making sure that it is inclusive and that everybody feels respected. Respect is such a key part of retention. If people feel like they're respected in their environment, that's about half the battle. If you're unsure about your culture, really lean into maybe an employee engagement survey and do exit interviews or even do stay interviews to find out how people are feeling now before they leave. So lots that you can do on that culture side, and as well as benefit side to make sure that you can retain those amazing team members that you have. Another key area is around policies. And this is where you can kind of be creative, maybe involving people in shift scheduling to help with flexibility there, or hiring part-time workers can help on the policy side, making sure that your leave policy and scheduling and rescheduling policies and practices are as efficient and effective for your organization as possible, because again, one person missing in a day can really wreak havoc on your schedule. Then you want all your policies to help you provide a fair and consistent work environment that really encourages the behaviors that you want to emulate. Last but definitely not least is training and developing your employees. If people feel respected and feel like there's a career path or that they're getting continuing education, those aspects can really improve your retention also and reduce that high turnover that plagues some medical offices. So from the day that people join, you want to have really solid onboarding processes to make sure people get trained and feel comfortable from the day that they start. Oftentimes, within the first 30 days, employees leave if they don't feel like they're supported. So making sure that you provide good support, maybe a buddy or a mentor can be helpful. And then looking at long term, how do you develop those people? Maybe there's some career path options, or they can become a medical assistant one, then medical assistant two as they gain new competencies can be motivating and provide additional rewards and recognition for those employees. Making sure that you're clear about expectations and providing good feedback, whether that's obviously maybe an annual performance review, but what are you doing more regularly to provide that feedback and coaching and support? And then ongoing learning is really important, especially as changes are happening so frequently in the industry. That'll also help your team be able to perform and deliver customer service at its best. So again, here's a summary of a few recommendations that you want to make sure in place. Make sure that you update or develop your employee handbook if you don't have one. There's been a lot of recent changes, so making sure you get an annual refresh is good. But every once in a while, if it's been more than 5 years, definitely encourage you to do a little bit of an update handbook process. Also, as I mentioned for the culture, it's really key to make sure you have a pulse on where people are. So, doing an employee engagement survey and doing regular stay interviews to find out how they're feeling, what additional tools they could use to help them be productive. Are there any areas of conflict that can be addressed? Those interviews can really help your team feel engaged and connected. You also want to train your managers effectively. The saying goes that people don't leave organizations, they leave managers really holds true. So if you have any new managers, investing in a little bit of those supervisory skills can be important because just because somebody's a good individual contributor doesn't necessarily translate to being a solid manager. So you want to make sure to, again, support those leaders. Making sure that you are conducting a compensation and benefit study regularly is helpful. Again, especially if you're facing turnover that's more unexpected. Part of it could be around compensation or benefits. So taking a look at those regularly is important. Um, on the benefit side, with health insurance, there's a lot of different options out there that can help reduce costs or at least minimize the cost increases. So, making sure that you've got a good creative benefit strategy in place can serve you quite well. And then making sure you have a good onboarding checklist and process. I often encourage people to have somebody really laid out for that first week so it's really clear what they're going to be doing. Job shadowing and having a mentor could be really key, as well as kind of book training and making sure other compliance matters are addressed up front. And then focusing again on that conflict and team building. There's lots of great exercises and trainings you can do. Again, it's really hard to pull people away for group team building exercises given the demands of a medical practice. But whatever you can do to kind of engage people, and then if there are any specific conflict areas, leaning in to address them. There's lots of great conflict management resources out there that can be really helpful. All right. Well, thanks so much for spending some time with me today. I hope this was helpful and let us know if there's anything else we can do to help. Have a great day.